Your book sparked a lot of talk about a culture of alcohol in the NHL. Has the league been turning a blind eye? Is there a culture of alcohol in the NHL?
I think when I broke in the league, it was kosher to after practice go out and have a few beers with the guys, and for the guys that were a little bit more extremists, we stayed till supper time, went home, had dinner with the kids, and we were back out again. So it was just part of, I guess, the lifestyle.
I heard a former NHL player last week saying junior hockey has to answer to that too, that coaches routinely drink with their underage players.
Yeah, but Bill, I can't really comment on that because I don't run the league. I'm not a participant in the league, but obviously if people are talking about it, then obviously it's an issue. I think there's nothing wrong with having a couple drinks, but if you can stop, great.
But what I couldn't get over was the fact that you did it for 15 years. I mean, you drank, you did cocaine, you partied crazy hours, and you still managed to show up and play at an elite level. You didn't flame out. No pun intended.
Yeah. You know what the thing was, Bill? For me, I wasn't a guy that enjoyed working out. I wasn't a guy that enjoyed practice, but I was a guy that loved to when the puck was dropped. That's when I loved the game of hockey because I just love to compete. I love to play against the best guys in the game, the Scott Stevens, the Chelioses, the Bukabooms, and Smith. I knew every shift that I was on the ice that I was going to have to play against those guys, and I would, in order for me to be successful, I was going to have to outcompete them and play my very best, and I love that part of the game.
We talked about you going to New York, not a good place for an alcoholic doing cocaine.
Not good for a kid who come from the prairies either, and just kind of dropped in the middle of New York and said, "Here, you have at her." So it's like,
so you did.
It's like an adult Disneyland there. I remember, a few times, partying in New York, and the normal bar usually closes at 2:00 in the morning, and most people go home. But in New York, there's a bar that opens up at 4:00 and then 9:00 in the morning, and it just never stops.
Still, in the midst of that, you managed to go to Salt Lake and win a gold medal.
Yeah, hard to believe.
What about Olympic drug testing?
I was clean at that time. I
got clean in order to play.
Well, if you recall, in February of 2001, they removed me from the NHL, and I went to treatment. I did like 60 days of intense therapy. Then I lived a couple weeks in sober living, and then I went back to Canada and started preparing for the season. And during that time, I made it 14 months clean and sober. But that's when I started gambling. I wasn't working any sort of program at all. And by the time, I wanted to be on that team. So,
you focused.
I focused, and, it's like I said, once I have a goal and once I have something to achieve, I can really, focus in on that,
Did Gretzky know how much you were struggling?
Oh, absolutely.
And he still wanted you to come and play?
Absolutely. And you know what? If I was picking a team for Canada, I would want me on the team too. The bigger the game, the better I played. And for Wayne, and I remember I was in Santa Fe, and it was in the summertime, and the phone rang, and I picked it up, and hello, is Theo there? I said, speaking. And he's like, "Hey, it's Wayne." I'm like, "Wayne who?" He said, "Wayne Gretzky." I was like, "Holy cow! Hey, how's it going?" Hey, and that was a couple of months before the orientation camp in Calgary, and he said, "We would really like it and appreciate it if you would come to the orientation camp. And I was like, you're joking, aren't you? And he's like, no. He says, we really want you to be a part of this. And he said, I understand some of the struggles you've been through. And he said, I think this would be really good for you. And so, of course I accepted and went to camp, and I was in unbelievable shape at that time. Probably, next to this past training camp, it was probably the best shape that I was in my life. And went to New York, had an unbelievable first half of the season, was playing with Lindros and Mike York, and we had incredible chemistry, and we just clicked as a line. And December came, and I remember getting the call from Wayne, and he said, we really want you to be on this team, and we believe in you, and for the greatest player in the game to give you that kind of endorsement and care for you as much as Wayne cares about me, not only as a player but I think as a person as well. And I just didn't want to let that guy down.
Well, you didn't.
And I was so focused, and what an unbelievable team to be a part of. Like Brendan Shanahan, Joe Newendike, and I were the fourth line on that team, and we had 1,500 career NHL goals, and we're the fourth line. So it just goes to show you what an unbelievable team that was, and there'll never be another team like that, I don't think.